We're going to have more on this with our expert, Gavin Macgregor-Skinner. He's a senior director at Global Biorisk Advisory Council and an infectious diseases expert. Good to see you, and thank you for joining us. Is it a fair statement that an overreaction in this case is probably a good thing, given that nobody has gotten through these 5 airports as of yet?
No, it's the right thing to do. The situation in Uganda is very serious. Again, as we mentioned, the first case was reported September 20th, and we've now seen this virus.
Right. If you can still hear me, and I apologize for the technical issues, we again went through COVID, and there was a lot of concerns that we were doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing. Skeptics came out everywhere. Now, I know this is just happened, as you say, from September 20th, but did we learn something from COVID that we can put in place today when addressing Ebola?
Yes, we have, and that's a really good question. There are no direct flights that I know of from Uganda directly into the US. So again, if you're in Uganda, I've been there many times myself, also responding to Ebola outbreaks as an epidemiologist. But you've got to leave Uganda and fly somewhere else to another country before you come into the US. And we're now going to bring all those passengers into 5 airports. That's a good thing. That's the right thing to do, because as we saw in 2014, that Ebola outbreak, which was in West Africa, spread to many, many countries by people who were sick or infected, hopping onto planes. Now, what we've learned from COVID is that the PCR test that was so important for COVID, with the right reagents, is also the test for Ebola. And we know the Uganda government has a lot more PCR testing capabilities and actual machines across the country. So their testing capability is much improved, mainly because of COVID.
Gavin, for those of us that aren't infectious disease experts, I feel like there's a lot of learning here to do. Give us a sense of what these symptoms are, what Ebola is, and why we should be worried.
For my whole life, my whole career of 30 years, I've been dealing with these high consequence pathogens. They're scary. I'm scared even when I go into an Ebola hospital. Now, the Ebola virus spreads very easily. It's highly contagious from anything that's wet that comes out of your body. So anything that's wet that comes out of your body, if you're infected with Ebola, will have Ebola virus in it. And it produces millions of virus particles, and we only need a very small number to get infected. And that infection, or the virus, has to get into your body through your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. And it starts off with headaches, fatigue, you might have some joint pain, some muscle pain. But then I've seen over, probably 3,000 or 4,000 Ebola patients in my career, and it's the diarrhea and the vomiting. You've never seen diarrhea. It's unbelievable. There's so much, and it's all laden with lots and lots of virus. So again, Ebola patients produce lots of virus through the vomiting and the diarrhea that they have, which is part of the symptoms. And that takes a lot of effort to keep the hospitals clean, to keep us protected. We have to wear the right personal protective equipment. And it's so important that those of us that have to work with Ebola patients, we can't do anything else. Again, we know the incubation period is up to 21 days or 3 weeks. So it's really important as we start to screen any traveller that comes from Uganda, we have to understand, where have you been in the last 21 days?
Well, I guess that explains why we are all taking this very seriously, and we have airports that are screening passengers coming from that area. Gavin, appreciate it. I want to let our viewers know there is no known vaccine, but I'm sure you guys are working on that feverishly. Thank you.